Okay, I'm going to talk about the squid now. There are parts you are supposed to label from the dissection that I'm not going to show you because you don't need to know them for the practical, but I guess they do technically want to be labeled on your, from your sheet that says what you need to label for the dissection. So let's not worry about that. We'll worry about it later. I'm just going to tell you things that might be on the practical. Okay, so we're back to mollusca, the mollusks, and specifically the cephalopods, the cephalopoda class. I should mention that you will, if I ask for the class, you need to say cephalopoda, not cephalopods. That's not the actual class name. And the same for the phylum. The phylum was mollusca. Both those would be capitalized, actually. The only part, yeah. And let's see. This is the squid. We did see it from the externally, so the fins. And here's its anterior, posterior with the arms. And then the long parts, which are the tentacles, help catch the food. And then we have eyes and siphons and things like that in here, which I'll show you in a minute. So here's the eye, or one side. There's another one on the other side. I think they're out, or they're just kind of not preserved well. But that would be where the eyes are. They're very well developed eyes. We saw that before on the mollusk one. This is the siphon. You can see it here. This is the siphon, and the siphon's where the water will come jetting out of in order to make the squid move. And so that's how it can get away. So it's an opening. Here I've gone underneath, inside the tentacle, or inside the arms, and I'm looking and opening it up. So there's the mouth. You can see all the arms around it. Oops. And there's the beak inside there. That's the hard part. That's going to be able to rip off the food so it can eat it in parts. You can also see that the tentacles here have or not the tentacles, yes, the tentacles and the arms. These are the arms. They're going to have these nice, powerful suckers on them. So this is it opened up. I have it both directions. It's the same squid. This one, I haven't taken the kind of casing off. Here I've done that. But this is going to be a male. So the way you tell it's a male is because it has this big white blob at the top. So it's like a cone of white, and the cone of white is the testis. And here's that cone of white. It's a solid tissue, really, or it looks solid. Then we also have here this baggie, and it's attached at this point, that bag of reproductive ducts, and there's the penis here, which would be the exit for the sperm, obviously, and so all the ducts are in here, and if you look in the bag, it's actually lots and lots and lots of tubes. So that's how you tell that's a male. This is a female from the other class, tentacles on the top side of the screen. She doesn't have that big white part up here, right? So she has, first thing you notice maybe are these neomental glands. The neomental glands, that's an important word for you to know. So those are only in the females. These pod-looking things that are on top of her, the kind of anterior part of her body. So this is near the top of like what you think of as the head. There's the neomental glands. You can see it close up. So if they have neomental glands, they're females. You can also see that she has this dark stuff in here and not the white solid tissue, and so it's actually the ovary. That's the ovary, and here's some eggs inside of it. So that's another way you can tell it's a female. So the neomental glands and then the ovary with eggs versus the solid testis structure here and the sac full of seminiferous tubules and other types of reproductive coils. These are the gills. So we're looking down kind of at the bottom half, or the more close to the arms half of the squid. So from here, we're looking down at this part. Here's the gills here. So the gills, obviously that's going to be a breathing structure. You notice they're feathery, just like we've been seeing in all the organisms. There's one on each side. She has some pretty nice ones. You can see her gills there. We also have this, these straps kind of on the side, they are actually muscles, so they're for retracting the siphon to make it come in and squeeze, and that's how they'll jet away. So these siphon retractor muscles. This big sac underneath, I think the whole thing is the liver. And then on top of that is this ink sac and intestine. They're separate structures, but they're kind of hard to distinguish. But it is that kind of shiny part is the ink sac. Let's see, what was hers? You can't see it. They haven't opened her up yet. This is from the other class, so I couldn't do anything about it. But if you see, it's all encased in this kind of tissue. So the coelom is in between, and then we have like a casing around it. So you have to open that up to be able to see. You'll be able to see her ink sac, but it should look something like this. Okay. So I guess that's mostly what we're worried about. Be able to tell if it's a male or female. And let me just show you. Here's what I'm talking about with this sac of tubes. So there's the testes, and here's that sac of tubes. And that's going to end up coming out. Can't see the bottom of it, but it's the end of the tube. Okay. Females don't have that.